Hello everyone and welcome back to Art a la Carte, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the step-by-step process I used to create this jellyfish mermaid. In a previous video I did a sketch of it in my Copic sketchbook, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But first I want to tell you a little bit about how or what I used to create the background. I get a lot of questions regarding that, so I thought I would give you a little sneak peek of that, and if later you want a more detailed video on how I create them, let me know in the comment section below. But the supplies that I use are a product called Color Burst, which is a powdered ink that you apply to your paper, and then you can either add water to it first or afterwards. You get different effects, but it works a lot like watercolor but has a really strong pigment to it, and I really enjoy using them. Once I created the background and it was completely dry, I then wanted to transfer over my original sketch. So what I did was take a photograph of the picture, put it on my computer, printed it off at a larger scale, and then using my light box, then transferred that over. Now if you don't have a light box, I think I might have an art hack video which talks about how to transfer things over, and if I do, I will put a link to that video in the description box below. Now that I have the sketch transferred over, I can begin to create the piece. I decided that I would go ahead and do this completely in watercolor first, and ended up later on going and mixing up and putting in some gouache and some colored pencils as well, just to get the desired effect that I wanted. What we have to remember is that Copic markers, though some people say are very much like watercolors, is still a completely different medium than watercolor paint. So you're going to see that both of these pictures, though very similar in subject matter and design, have a different outlook at the end. They have a different quality about them, both nice. And it's kind of fun to see how different mediums can create a different look to the same exact piece. One thing I found is that with my Copic markers, I worked a lot with the white of the paper, whereas with the watercolor, because I laid down the background first, I already had a really dark background, and that kind of began to seep into my watercolor paints as well, and just kind of toned them down. So you're going to find that there is a lot of layering in the white. I'll put the white in there, and the white will then almost immediately begin to pull the dyes from the ink underneath it and turn it into this kind of pale blue or pale purple areas. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll go back over it and add in some more white later on. The biggest thing I can say with this piece was it took a lot of time, and I do mention that in a lot of different videos that I post, that probably one of the biggest elements that you can add to a painting is time. Just giving it the time it needs to be created. In fact, I worked 2 full days on this piece and then let it sit, and then came back and worked another couple hours for a third day on it before I kind of felt that it was done. What I do want to talk about really quickly is some art supplies that I used in creating this piece that I had a lot of questions about. I just purchased them, I think maybe about 2 weeks ago, and posted a picture of them on my Instagram page, and had a lot of you guys asking questions about them and wanting to know where I got them and what they were. So what it is mechanical pencils that have colored lead in them, and that's pretty basic. They are a Pilot brand, and you get, I think there's about 8 colors in each set. I think I only show you 7 of them because I have my purple one hidden somewhere. But they're really nice. They work just like a mechanical pencil, aside from having colored lead. And I feel the lead is very similar to using like a cool erase color pencil, but there's a wider variety of color, and then you get that really fine point. So as you can see, there are several different colors. There's a kind of a teal color, a pink, an orange, a green, a yellow, a dark blue, a dark red, and a purple. I like drawing in different colored leads. It kind of just breaks things up a little bit, so it's fun to have these. And the nice thing about them is, for the most part, they are erasable. As long as I don't push in the lead too hard into the paper, it comes out relatively easily. There might be a little bit of staining at the very end. Because I wanted this piece to have more of a sketchy look to it, I went ahead and began a very slow and tedious process of layering in the colors using my mechanical color pencils. And again, it took a long time. So I'm going to quickly speed through this process because I don't think you want to sit here for the hours that it took to create this. After I finished the detail in her face and a few more colors in her outfit, I was really beginning to think that she still wasn't white enough. I didn't want her to have like a flesh tone. I wanted her to be kind of that white glowiness of a jellyfish mermaid. And this is when I switched then over to colored pencils and used my white color pencil to begin to pull out the lighter tones. So the brand of color pencil that I use is a Prismacolor color pencils, and I know there's a lot of different brands out there. Prismacolor was the first brand that I invested in, and I actually haven't tried too many of the other high-end color pencils. I do have a video where I compare these to more of a less expensive brands like Crayola and some other brands there. So I have a video on that if you want to check that out. For the white parts of the jellyfish and for the tendrils coming off of her dress, I went ahead and used ink. So the first one I used was my gel pen, which is a Signo Uniball brand, which I really like that. I use Jelly Roll as well, but I think the Signo is probably my favorite brand. For the white dots of her dress, I used white Indian ink and the back side of a paintbrush, and then just dipped it into the ink and applied the dot piece by piece. So this piece is just about done. If you want to get a closer look at the detail, you can head over to my Etsy shop. As of right now, she's for sale there, and I'm hoping at some time in the future to be able to create some prints of her as well. If you're brand new to this channel, thanks for joining us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. I post videos each Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.